Hello, Heat Seekers. It's the Heat Sheet.
Lewis, how are you doing this evening?
Yeah, not bad. It's been a little bit since we've chatted. There's obviously been a lot of wrestling watched. There's been a lot of wrestling missed. I should probably be keeping my eye on it a little bit more with WrestleMania that I'm actually going to. But I feel like every time I watch Raw or SmackDown or even NXT, I'm getting that little bit more disappointed. Because last year you could see everything falling into place. You've seen the mega matches, and at the moment it seems like I don't know whether Triple H has got his eye too much to the Hall of Fame speech rather than his actual booking. But yeah, it seems to be a bit Pete Tong at the moment. So it's all right, but yeah, ticking on.
I know, like, you would have thought, with WWE now being on Netflix, we'd be watching wrestling more than ever, but no. If anything, I've been watching it less.
I know it's that thing though. It's got to keep you interested. It's
Aye.
I don't know. Since that first episode, those first couple of episodes, it's very just like bit part. It's put together a little bit shabbily. I think. I don't know.
Do you get the impression that because of the Netflix thing, they put so much behind that, they've almost forgot to plan for Mania a wee bit?
I think so. Yeah, like everything's geared to trying to get the audience in right now, or we'll just give you these random matches to try and get you
Aye.
hooked with these people you might know, and there's no real. I don't know. There's not real any mega matches going to be happening at WrestleMania because they want to get them all on TV to get everyone seen now.
That's right, aye. And I think it feels like, because we're what? How long have we got? Like less than 2 months, and
Yeah,
yet
so-
there's still no clear path in who Drew McIntyre's going to face. There's still no clear path in who CM Punk's going to face. Even Roman and Seth, it doesn't seem like it's a dead on that those two are
I
going
know.
to.
Like Roman's going to be off TV past Elimination Chamber, and even the women's side, it's. I mean, it is whoever wins the Royal Rumbles go on to face the champion, and whoever wins Elimination Chambers go on to face the champion. But you'd be hoping maybe for a little bit more going on. You don't just want, even with the Elimination Chamber. We'll talk about it a wee bit more later, but I don't know. I feel like everyone in the Elimination Chamber is going to have their own match that doesn't actually involve Cody Rhodes. I can see these people going on to different things, and was it 2 months, less than 2 months before WrestleMania, and you only got one match, well, two matches confirmed, the two Royal Rumble winners.
Yeah, and I know you're going to talk more in depth about the chamber lineup and who's involved. And the other thing that strikes me is they created two new women's titles, and I only found this out today. Taya's not yet defended the belt, and she won it. What was it, the end of the year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, or was it? I think it was Was it a week after? A week after. There's a second. I think it was the second Raw on Netflix. So was it?
Was it
Just halfway through January? Not even halfway through January, but it's
Aye,
over a month.
aye, true. Or maybe I'm thinking because was it Chelsea that won it at Christmas? Or
Yeah,
something?
Chelsea won it a bit before, but Lyra was, I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure she was the second Raw on Netflix. But yeah, are they building? You've got to think by this point, especially with the IC title, I feel like Braun Breaker's been in. He's got a feud with AJ Styles going on now. He's had it with Kaiser and Sheamus and everything. I'm hoping this means they're trying to build to two multi-man matches. With the US title's null and void. LA Knight's coming out to challenge Nakamura, but Nakamura is completely driving this title into the ground. Nothing of his own ability, just
Well,
you want
you
when
better there.
I know it's you can only do much, so much with what he's given. You want these stories into WrestleMania being, someone a massive champion. This big champion Gunther, a good example. Braun Breaker, good example. Someone could take off there. Nakamura has been champion for 3 months or 3 months or something, and he's defended it once. I know.
You even know he's champion right now.
Somebody takes it off him at WrestleMania, and it's like Cool. It's just like a singles match at that point. Tag titles have been defended on a pay-per-view, but it's a pay-per-view that's, it's very much fading into the background with two Royal Rumbles and a.
Aye.
So it's like they're not doing enough for these things. Like you said, the two women's championships are who are they going to face? No one even cares right now. And Cody, we don't know who Cody's going to face. 7 weeks. You want a build. You want like an 8, 9, 10 week build for this. You know what I mean? Daniel Bryan-esque, Kofi Mania type stuff. It's like you've got Jey Uso, but it's the same sort of stuff we're going through every week, isn't it? But we'll get onto this. We'll get onto this. Enough ranting to start.
WrestleMania's in the future. Let's talk about all the goings on of the week, and I think the big thing that happened was we got the full NXT debut of Ricky Saints, and I had to pause there because
it's going to take some getting used to.
Starts because it's such a weird one to say, Ricky Saints, and for me it goes down as potentially one of the worst name changes ever. I mean, maybe one of the worst as ever. Maybe more of a weird one because it's not a terrible one. I don't think it's going to bury him. Plus, he's talented and charismatic enough to just get past all that anyway. But where do you stand on the name change for it?
I think it's one of those that must have been done out of necessity because it's so like minuscule a change that makes like a big difference. It like resets them. Maybe they're going for that, but who like think about the other AEW superstars that have came in. Penta's not changed really. He's got a few more names at the back of Penta, but Penta is Penta. You've got fucking Cody Rhodes obviously coming in as Cody Rhodes. You've got all these people coming in that don't. Even Jordan Grace is coming in as Jordan Grace from TNA. I know they've got a partnership in that, but I highly doubt that Tony Khan owns the name Ricky Starks or anything. Yeah. Whether it's Zoe Stark, and they want to.
That's the only logical thing that makes sense.
It is.
They don't want confusion getting away. But then in AEW you've got Brian Cage and Christian Cage, and they don't overlap each other. I
know, and they've got a lot of Adams and AEW and this and that. You can probably think of another example of people in WWE with the same name, or similar names, but it's one of those things that Braun Strowman and Braun Breaker.
There you go.
It's
and then Bronson Reed after that, and
Bronson Reed. I know. So what's
they love their Browns, but not the Starks.
What's a Stark to a Stark? It's a man and it's a man and a woman as well. You know what I mean? They're never going to be in the same division.
It can't be to do with Marvel because because I know Tony Stark's not the bit that's trademarked. It's Iron Man that's trademarked.
Yeah,
it can't be to do with
I know. That. And Zoe Stark's already there, so you know what I mean. Like if it is that, and maybe Zoe Stark's put her foot down or something, you don't really want to like. Obviously, we're bashing. We could be potentially bashing Zoe Stark for something that's absolutely nothing to do with her, And it's definitely not. It's definitely not Ricky Stark's idea, because we've heard him on the Busted Open podcast saying it's as close as we're going to get. So it's like it seems to be enforced somewhere. Somewhere or other has been enforced.
I think so. And it's got to be thinking like, what do you think are the worst name changes ever in wrestling history?
Well, there's one that always sticks out to me. Like, I don't know, it's from childhood trauma probably as well. So when I used to go to like the galas, the galas that come around your town with the kind of circuses and all that and everything like that. And there was always this one wrestling stall every year, and that gave sort of posters and old videos and everything. I remember getting a Viscera poster that I put just above my bed, and for some reason that used to terrorize me every night. And I'm so scared of Viscera when I would have been 4 or 5 or something.
I was scared of him as King Mabel and that big
I know.
onesie he used to wear.
So you had King Mabel, and then you had Viscera, and I felt like Viscera was when he came into his own the most. With the Ministry of Darkness, and he was sort of a henchman and everything. He wore the sort of black coat and everything, and then he left for a couple of years, and then he came back as he was still Viscera, but he was the greatest love machine or whatever it was. But
Aye.
then when I went to ECW, he came back as Big Daddy V.
Aye.
And that's minus 1,000 aura instantly.
Aye. So
He's
he
not
was.
scary as big. He's not scary as Big Daddy V. And that's how they were
Aye.
presenting him. You know, if it was a piss take and he was like, you know, still as a love machine character, and he came as, but he was Big Daddy V was with that terrible outfit he had on with his titties
Aye.
hanging at the top,
Yeah, the big massive
um,
tits. It was like,
hanging right at the top. That was the only
oh,
scary thing about him at that point. But
aye,
yeah, I
he
think Viscera to Big Daddy V just totally derailed his career
yeah,
when he could have been sort of a, you know, still a big main eventer, scary guy, and it just turned him into a jobber.
yeah, aye. But Big Daddy V, and let's be honest, there's a pedo undertone going on there, isn't there? Yeah, it was a burial. There's a couple that spring to mind with me. The one I'll never forget was they had this brilliant run in NXT, the War Raiders. Well, first of all, they were known as War Machine in the indie scene, but they couldn't use that one because again that was another one that was trademarked by Marvel. So they had to. So they came in NXT. They were the War Raiders, but it still worked. It still sounded cool. They were a big hit with the crowd. You know they had the chant going war 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 every time they came on out. And then they made that they made their debut in Raw. And when it came up with the graphics, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The Viking experience.
Well, it just got like worse and worse, didn't it? Because you said they were what were they in ROH? Were they War Machine in ROH?
Aye.
Yeah, it was War Machine in ROH, and then they went to the War Raiders, and you're thinking, yeah, that's fine. You know what I mean?
I
Like
know, but
it's
like,
close enough. But the Viking experience. And then we got the Viking. Was it the Viking Raiders? Are they still the
aye,
Viking
the
Raiders? No, they're
Viking.
the
I
War.
think they're
Now
still.
they're the War Raiders now.
Aye. No, is it
Uh,
not just? I thought they're now just called. Is it not just the Raiders now or something?
I think I'm sure it's War Raiders.
But I think they must have went back at one point. So, aye, there was the. Actually, when it came up, I'm going, Jesus Christ, that sounds like the thing that they. Uh, Hold on a minute, I've got a error up saying your recording stopped due to low browser storage.
Is it? My mind seems to still be going.
Maybe. No, it's still showing as Gordon. Sorry. Sorry, what was I saying? So I looked at it. It said Viking experience. I'm going. That sounds like something that goes on at the Largs Leisure Centre.
Ah, you do that. You could do that at like Butlins or something. We can
It's
go on
just a
the
shocker.
you can go on the Helter Skelter and we can go around the Viking experience. You
Aye,
know. But yeah, it's funny you say that. Like my next one I had in my head was that as well. Um, but one I can go to that's I think it was both of them got absolutely butchered. I'm sure. Was
Oh,
it Typhoon?
uh,
You can finish yours
sorry.
off.
The other one I was going to say was Booker T. Back in WCW, the height of Vince Russo's reign of terror and dumpster fire that he was causing there. He briefly renamed Booker T just to the Booker. It was so
You know,
pointless. It only lasted like 2 weeks, but like it
he's the
was.
only good booker there anyway. I tell you that.
Aye, exactly. Sorry, but
But
what
I'm
was the
sure
one?
he was. I'm sure he was GI Joe or
Aye,
something at
GI
some
Bro.
point
That
as
was the other
well.
one. That was
GI
the
Bro, that was it.
one
Yeah,
with the
they
two.
tried to end Booker T's career before it started, did
Aye,
they?
they.
He managed to, managed to
Aye,
recover.
aye.
But I was going to go with the Viking Raiders as well, the War Raiders, the Viking experience, the fucking Butlin's experience, whatever they are. But I'll go for one as well. I'm sure I can go as a duo here, sort of as well. It was Typhoon that went into Shockmaster, wasn't it? Or was it
Yes,
Earthquake?
Frank
It was
Dutch.
Typhoon. Yeah, Typhoon was into within the Shockmaster. That took about 5 steps before his career was over.
It's
Uh,
like the
and
immediate
then
burial.
immediate, I know.
Aye.
And then and then there was, I'm sure, was it Earthquake went into Golga or something in the oddities? Was he in there at one point or something? I'm
Yes,
sure it was
God,
him.
aye. They were.
So it just utterly killed the natural disasters.
Aye.
Obviously,
But the whole oddities thing was like they would never get away with it now because there was also Kurgan the interrogator and that was apparently he was meant to be like a famous or infamous torturer in the prisons in South Africa during the height of apartheid and all that.
Fucking hell. Like, we're
Aye,
going for an attitude here, wasn't it? Especially
aye,
for total jobbers. Like, you want to maybe keep it as low risk as possible, and they were just
yeah.
going for it. You know, especially with hardcore. What I mentioned about hardcore Holly and everything in
Oh,
the late 90s.
Jesus.
Keep that one in the fucking Vince's,
Aye, like
lockbox.
when even Vince says no, we're not doing that. You know it's
We'll not
fucked.
go there.
Aye,
I know. But yeah, those two were like obviously the height of the early 90s. The the most dominating sort of big guys to go against your LODs and your
yeah.
demolitions and that. And by the mid to late 90s, they were just totally killed off basically just by
Oh,
name changes and character changes. They just
it was
ended
a
their careers pretty much.
it was a shame because the earthquake was like a legit like shoot fighter and that. He was like this.
I
He's
know.
like universally regarded as one of the most legit hard men ever in wrestling.
hmm What's your third one? And you got another one?
I don't know. I thought one. I was going to also mention Gunter, going from Walter to Gunter. I remember we all thought, oh no, that's
Immediate,
the end of
yeah.
the world. But no, he overcame it just
That was one
because
of
of
the
how
good
good he
ones.
is. I still think even now they should put something on the end of it, something like Gunter Haas, like a good strong German name round it a wee bit. But he's
hmm
getting by without it. Let's be honest.
I think another one as well was when it's more annoying when people it kind of like Ricky Starks when people have a totally developed name on the indies and they come to WWE, in a fairly prominent spot and they've just got a different name, So one very similar to, coming into NXT as a major star. Maybe this person was a little bit more of a star than Ricky Starks was, but I remember when Kenta um,
Yeah,
debuted in WWE, and they just gave him the most generic Japanese name they
I can't even
possibly
remember
could.
what it was. Was it Cage or
Hideo
something?
Hideo Itami.
That was it.
It's like
Aye.
I don't know. I don't know if that has any correlation to his real name. Obviously, I'll do a bit of Google browsing right now.
It's why it's why I don't want big New Japan guys to ever
Oh
come
yeah, I
into.
know. So Kenta Kabashi's his real name.
Mhm.
He obviously went
No,
as
no, no,
Kenta.
no,
And they
no,
just
no, 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 no. Different guy.
is that a different one? Am I on the
Kenta
wrong one?
Kobashi never came. Like Kenta Kobashi's like possibly the greatest Japanese wrestler ever,
No,
but he never came
it's
from
right. Kobayashi, sorry,
Kobayashi.
Kobayashi.
Because that's
Uh,
why he didn't use that name in
yeah,
Japan.
aye,
There was too much
because
backlash.
obviously Kenta Kobashi
Aha.
was close. Obviously, like you're saying, one of the best Japanese wrestlers in the world. Never got to
He
manage to
was
get
one of
to
the first
WWE.
brothers.
Yeah, but going just by Kenta, he was never really going by his birth name, obviously because of Kenta Kobashi in Japan. I know they probably missed each other by a couple of years when he started, but um, it was everyone. It was at the start where everyone was calling him Kenta still. You know, I can't remember if he might have come back as Kenta into WWE, or maybe when he left WWE, he went back to Kenta. But um, yeah, it was one of them that as he was being called Kenta for maybe 6 months by everyone online in his
Aye.
career. Just kind of what like Ricky Starks, Ricky Saints is going to be. It's going to take a few months to go over that.
It's going to be a hard one to get used to. Like, even like with Adam Copeland, like they're trying to get him with try to get him over as just Cope right now in AEW. But even I'm still saying Edge
I
because
know
like I
it's
know
it's not
when
long enough. I know it's not long enough from after Edge to you. We were just getting used to Adam Copeland again.
aye,
So we can't go to Cope yet.
and then there was
I'm still
like
sometimes even calling FTR the revival. And that's been like 4 years, 5 years,
yeah,
So you just need to give these things time. You can't go. I suppose that's a little bit of hypocrisy then by us giving Ricky Saints shite, but he's only going to be in NXT for a year, 2 years,
aye,
So unless they've got big plans for the Saints name and everything like that. Obviously, as Scottish boys, Saints is a wee bit weird to get our heads around.
It's
Obviously,
like he's not going to be popular with Morton supporters anyway.
nah, definitely not. Mate. I don't know how many Mont supporters there are. Never mind how many they watch fucking
I'm from
wrestling.
Greenock, and trust me, there's not even many in Greenock.
But yeah, no,
He's not
there's
depressed
been some
enough as it is
pretty
with a shite football club.
there's been some pretty bad name changes. But if they're good enough, they'll manage to get it over in no time at all.
Yeah, but anyway, we'll move on and we'll talk about our front page. And I don't think there's been anything really eye catching off the ring. I just want to mention Grand Slam Australia that AEW
Mhm.
produced on Saturday because it was a really good show and a lot of positives came out from it. And I'm always saying this about AEW, but fingers crossed it's finally a curve turn from them because they've had a wee bit of a slow start to the year,
Mhm.
but some good stuff's now happening. We've got Kenny Omega back. Tony Storm's the women's champion again, and she seems like she's red hot as ever. And I think finally the Death Rider storyline seems like it's going to end soon because I fully predict with Moxley and Claudio winning that match, I think that surely sets it up for Cope to take the title from him at
Mhm.
Revolution. I think they've heard the fan reactions. They've seen the disappointment online that Moxley's title run hasn't gone to plan, and they now know a big change is needed.
Yeah, there's so many good wrestlers in that group. Obviously with Utah and Moxley and Claudio and everything. It's like it was good. It was good in principle. Having them sort of take over and fight against everything AEW had, becoming all this and that. But it never worked as much as they wanted it to. And bringing in, maybe they were placed against an uphill battle of maybe Adam Copeland wasn't the right man to lead that AEW sort of charge against them at the moment, considering he's a WWE guy anyway, isn't he?
We still see him as a WWE guy, don't we?
Yeah, he's a WWE guy. You had to really build up either Darby or Orange Cassidy as a credible challenger, and then take it off him. Build him up to be this massive heel, and then have that sort of 5-on-5, 4-on-4, or whatever, and then at the next pay per view, after maybe a 6-month reign, John Moxley has the title taken off him. But they've sort of missed that. They've missed that beat, and it's just maybe time you get the title on Edge, and whether you separate them, whether you have a slow exit from each other, and they bring them to different parts of the show, and maybe they can come together again, or at some point, or Moxley goes and does his own thing.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that Moxley, I think he's but it's not a buddy with him. It's not to say he's been a bad champion. I just think the timing was wrong. I
yeah,
think they
so
started out brilliantly, had this menacing run where he was just taking things out on his frustrations out on all the young members of the locker room and turned against Danielson. But it's just the he's as good as he is. He doesn't feel menacing enough to be a kind of tyrant figure the same way Roman was during his title reign or Brock Lesnar before that. You need that only works with a really big guy. If there was
yeah,
anyone in AEW that would have worked with it, would have been somebody like say Powerhouse Hobbs or
yeah, just like
Wardlow
a
back when
proper
he was
menacing
hot, that
figure.
kind of guy.
hmm like a 6'5"
It's
can
got to be it's got to be
get
a
on
big
mic.
boy.
hmm You can only get so much with violence and cryptic promos. But yeah, Christian Cage is lurking in the background. We'll see what happens with him as well.
I think this is the I'd be very surprised if this doesn't isn't what's going to happen. I think they're going to replicate the WrestleMania 31 uh, finish. I think it's
Right.
going to get to the point where Cope and Moxley have beaten the shit out of each other to the extent that both of them are laid out, and that's when Christian's going to do his cash in, and and make it a triple threat, but specifically he's going to pin Cope to win the title, just as a kind of
Fuck you, yeah.
fuck you to his old mate.
Yeah.
And that's when, and then Cope then chases him for the title for the next couple of months.
Yeah, and you can have a sort of chicken shit heel trying to hold on to it as much as you can. Obviously, they've had a couple of matches, they're violent matches and all that, but that was with TNT title. Bring them onto the bigger stage, and have the real, not Edge v Christian, but Cope versus Christian Cage. Because when they first came in, when Adam Copeland first came in, you were still thinking finally we get Christian versus Edge. But after they've been in here for a little bit for the AEW World Title, you can finally get Christian Cage versus Cope, and set their own history inside AEW rather than carrying on their history from their other companies.
Yeah, I think the other great stuff happened in the show. Of course, you had the tag team, the tag match that started it. You had Takeshita and Fletcher against Omega and Ospreay, the Dream Team, and as you expect, a great barn burner to kick things off. There was also Okada versus Buddy Matthews. Now, maybe not as great a match as we were hoping, but I don't know if you heard about this. Did you know Matthews apparently pulled a tendon or snapped a tendon in his foot right
I
before
seen
he
it.
started?
Yeah, I seen it. I seen a clip shortly after the match happened. I didn't catch the match, but I seen the video of. It's funny that happened. I did that exact same thing in a football match on Saturday. He just planted his foot in it. Sort of gave away from him. And he'd done his ankle, and that's so sad because that could have been Buddy Matthews. Coming out party in Australia.
That's what I planned. Even though Okada ultimately won, it was meant to be his sort of
break away from Malachi Black in the House of Black.
Exactly, and he would have got a big hometown pop at the end where they all applauded him. So it's real gutting because he's a guy that we keep on. We keep on wanting to see get that big push because he's like in the ring. He is incredible.
I know.
People even compare him to Kenny Omega.
Even from 205 Live, who would have thought it? 5 or 6 years ago, maybe even longer than that, 7 years ago. When he was absolute star at 205 Live with Cedric Alexander, and then he obviously moved on to stuff with Seth Rollins, and then
I remember him and Mustafa Ali having
Mustafa Ali at WrestleMania. Fucking brilliant. And then obviously he came over, joined the House of Black, and finally, after 2 years in the House of Black or something, he was finally gonna do his own thing. And it will come. He's absolutely fucking ripped. He's class in the ring. He's got the look. He's got, maybe even if he's out for a bit now, he's got time to work on that singles promo. And yeah, I'm sure he'll be a big star. He'll be alongside a face, or even a heel against Cassidy and
I would love him and
Darby Allin for years to come.
I would love him and Jay White to do stuff.
Yeah, I know. That's just one of those that you would have. They're good enough wrestlers that they could put on a match anywhere, and it would be 5-star. I think this is a year where we can see more from Jay White. He's been in a lot. He has been in the backgrounds a lot. So even a feud between those two could kickstart both their careers.
Yeah, I think those.
I say kickstart, but restart them. And
yeah, exactly. I think those are two. I think come the end of the year, I could see them shining a lot in the Continental Classic.
Yeah, them and Fletcher, and I think maybe even Fletcher will be fucking already there by that point.
Yeah, feels like he already is.
Yeah, I know. He's holding his own against or with Takeshita and against Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay and everything, and he doesn't seem to be left behind of the United Empire. He's not becoming a side piece or anything now. He's bulked up and everything as well, and he's good in the mic. He's gonna outgrow Don Callis at some point as well. So he's going to be able to do his own thing as well. It is the talent they have. We really should be talking about AEW being in the same bracket as WWE soon. It's just the business side needs to
Yeah, that still needs. They still need to.
pick up, doesn't it?
They still need to work their booking out a bit
Mm-hmm.
more.
Because they've got the talent.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the there was a lot of stuff on social media about the ring size. I don't know if you caught that.
Mate, I seen the ring size. I thought I'll check around my room in case my toy ring had been stolen from my attic.
But it was a bit. It was really daft though. It's like it was. It just shows you how stupid a lot of the tribalism could be. Saying that, oh, it just shows you how unprofessional AEW are that they ordered an 18 by 18 ring. But QT Marshall came out and took Twitter saying it was always going to be an 18 by 18 ring. We had
I
it
know.
planned 2 months in advance, and all the talent that was going to be involved at the show were informed it was going to be an 18 by an 18 ring.
I think it's just because, I think it's because like every WWE and AEW match you've seen over the last, I don't know, 20 years, however long the 20 by 20 has been there, that's just what your eyes are naturally used to.
Aye.
So when you see a minor 2 meters by 2 meters isn't, it's quite or feet or whatever it is. It is not a massive difference, but it's just that little bit to the eye that us fickle fans can notice. Rather than the casual fan who would have enjoyed it, whether it was a 20 by 20, 40 by 40, 18 by 18, or a fucking phone box. You know what I mean? Like, we're just the fickle fans that spot the pedantic shit like that.
Yeah, exactly. But I think in a way it helped the show because it brought the fans a bit closer in, maybe a
Mhm.
bit more compact, and that was like the best crowd AEW's had in donkeys.
I know.
I heard
I
it was
think
like 10.
they could do that. Like when TNA went to the six-sided ring,
Aye.
obviously like the wrestlers didn't like it, but having an 18 by 18, it's a unique look. It's maybe a quicker paced match. It's
Mm-hmm.
obviously not what these people have grown up to sort of be used to. But when you're wrestling on fucking gym mats, I've done a bit of wrestling training myself. Wrestling on gym mats, you get into a ring that's fucking 15 by 15. And then your next one you're in's 20 by 20, and you're like, you've just got to get used to it.
Aye.
Like it is what it is. It's wrestling's wrestling. If you put Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay in a fucking barbed wire match or anything, you'd enjoy it. So
Yeah, exactly.
just need to get over the minuscule things and enjoy what's actually happening inside the ring.
Yeah, and overall, Grand Slam Australia, great show, and I hope the AEW do more stuff like this. Just do a kind of tour show, a 5 match card, host it like a super show almost, and
Yeah.
maybe do it every kind of quarter where they go to another country. Like hopefully they'll do something similar here, do something in Japan because they've got Okada, Takeshita and all that to sell that heavily.
Definitely.
Maybe do New Zealand as well. Give Switchblade a main event as well.
I know, just build them up a little bit.
Yeah. So let's hope they get stuff, more stuff like that going in the future. What would you say is your kind of front page stuff?
I'll back over to the Fed. I'll talk about we've already mentioned it a little bit, but Elimination Chamber. The field has filled. You've got your pods are closed with the 4 men that are going to be around the outside and the 2 men that are going to be in the middle. You've got Priest, Rollins, Paul, Punk, Cena, and help me out here. It was the 6th one.
I'll need to Google myself.
Head's gone. But yeah. Oh, McIntyre, Drew.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking Scottish, come on, feel my boy. But yeah, so 6 massive superstars. Well, 5 massive superstars and Damien Priest. But
Tottenham Hotspur of WWE main event.
yeah, it's like I've seen Drew McIntyre put a photo up of like those 4 army guys around the side of the wall and just a clown in the middle. Nothing against Damien Priest, but that's Roman Reigns' spot right there, isn't it?
We need to stop burying him. It's a shame.
Oh, that
Fuck
is Roman
Tottenham,
Reigns' spot though. Fucked on him. But there's it's a weird one because you usually look and think, yeah, there's a winner, there's a clear winner there, but like us doing the shit that we usually do of hyper analysing everything, you've got John Cena in there who probably won't win because he seems to be on this sort of woe is me tour.
You think so?
But I'll come back to it. He's probably still the favourite somehow. You've got Rollins and Punk who are probably going to do something and take each other out. You've got Priest and Drew who, God help me, if they're still going there. It looks like that's the only reason they're both in there is because that's going to happen. And then if you think Logan Paul and John Cena, that could be it. That's what I'm saying. There's 6 men in there who could set 3 matches up just together. It's Punk Rollins, Drew Priest, Paul Cena. And then nobody wins the Chamber. So that's why I'm thinking Cena's your man still, even though I don't know if he's going to win it.
Surely
Vacant win it. Is he in it?
Cena versus Cody surely is the only thing that saves this WrestleMania now.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the torch pass moment.
But is Cody going to win?
That's a good question.
What's the point of having Cena in there if he's... You didn't want to have Cena in the main event of WrestleMania for him to lose and then win Money in the Bank and win the belt. It's like...
Sure, but it's just going to be the fan interaction and how edge of our seats is going to be. Is we're all going to be there going, is he going to do it? Is he going to beat the Flair record? And is it not only fitting that happens at WrestleMania?
Yeah, I think that is what they're going to have to do. It has to be Cena versus Rhodes, and if you want to put on Cena, I suppose that's if you want to put on Cena, cool. If Cody wins and they pass the torch, cool. It's a win-win situation as long as the match is good. But yeah, the Elimination Chamber being stacked, the men's side, the women's side looks good as well. I don't know who's going to win that because I kind of thought Io Sky was going to be facing Rhea Ripley. I think it would have still been good if Jordan Grace faced Rhea Ripley. But maybe it's going to be Liv Morgan again. That side, was it 2 weeks down the road, a week and a half down the road? We'll see. But it's looking good.
There's not a strong case it could be Bianca.
Yeah.
Is there not rumours of her turning heel because she might be revealed to be the one that attacked Jade in the...
But then it's our girl versus Bianca Belair. You think it's that. So it just seems so weird. Like, I don't know if we're just overanalyzing everything by saying this person's surely going to face this person, and then it leaves no one to face the champions. It's a weird one. But I'd say that's probably the biggest story for me this week.
I need to ask you, what do you make of them doing KO versus Sami at Elimination Chamber?
I think that that's a WrestleMania match, but I also think they've got, Randy Orton's not got a whole lot left in the tank, and they're probably going to do KO versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania. I would much rather see KO versus Sami Zayn in a street fight, unsanctioned match at WrestleMania. Have them running through the crowd, doing their madness, giving their 30 minutes, 25 minutes at WrestleMania.
Ring of Honor.
Yeah, exactly, but that looks like it's what it's going to be. Randy Orton's probably going to come and screw Kevin Owens at Elimination Chamber, and it's going to set that up for me. Apparently carrying Cross, and that just is the absolute fucking cherry on it.
I do think it is better than people give him credit for, but no.
No, Karrion Kross is great, but he's like I say, he's a modern day Sean O'Hare, the devil's advocate. He's the devil's advocate, on your shoulder saying, why are you taking that from him? Fuck that.
I thought Sami might be the one to bring Big E out of retirement and he'll team with him to take on Kofi and Xavier.
Could potentially happen, It's just such weird booking. This is like fantasy WWE Universe, 17 years in the making. Like when you've played the campaign too many times and you're getting fucking ridiculous shit happening now. Like Jey Uso the world champion and everything. But yeah, it's just one of those we wait and see. Patience is always our friend on these things, so let's just wait and see what happens.
Yeah. So for our front page, we'll go with yours. We'll go with. I'm trying to think of a good headline here. Elimination Chamber. So the E is the EH with a
Elimination Chamber.
question mark, because we're confused about where it's all going.
Chamber of Secrets.
Of course. Son of a bitch. Right,
It was there. It was right there. Two good headlines.
Next day, we come on our back page. I'm not going to pick a match. I'm just going to say watch Grand Slam Australia, because it is the only thing I watched recently. I've already mentioned the Osprey Omega versus Takeshita and Fletcher match. I'm not going to pick it as the match of the week, because I don't want another year where Osprey's getting match of the match of the week.
I know you'll get every week.
Yeah, exactly. Because somebody else needs to win something for a change. You just watch the whole show. Have you got anything for back page?
Yeah. I'll give a contender of. We'll give it to someone who's not so much underrated, maybe underutilized, given the minutes that he deserves, and it's probably, even though it's the start of February, middle of February, the way he's booked, it's probably going to be his best match of the year, and that's Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins, the Elimination Chamber qualifying match. It's the best match Finn Balor's had since Edge, I think, at WrestleMania. Was that 2 years ago? Maybe even before that. It was the match we didn't get at SummerSlam 2016 when he pulled his, he did his shoulder. But yeah, it was he even got a couple of near falls, coup de grace. Seth kicked out of. He caught him with pedigrees. They both did pedigrees. It was back and forward. It was the most competitive Finn Balor's looked in some time. And if this, hopefully, he can break away from the Judgment Day and become, his own man and finally get a title run worth his 20+ year career that it deserves. Because Finn Balor's 40 odd. He's not got, as good as he looks. He's not going to be able to wrestle until he's 55. He's only got 5 or so years left, I'd say. And he deserves it now. So Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor was definitely my match of the week.
Finn has always struck me as a guy that's been the victim of, shall we say, the veteran booking. Because it felt like when he was at his hottest, it was when they just seemed they couldn't get the belt off of Brock Lesnar or Daniel Bryan at that time, or AJ Styles. It's because they just didn't. It felt like they always wanted to give him a push. They just didn't know how to. They didn't know. They didn't know if the timing was right. I think there was always fears over his Irish accent and stuff like that. As well.
Could he be the guy?
There was always rumours that Vince seen him as too much of an indie guy, which really pissed me off, because if he's too much of an indie guy, what the hell is AJ Styles and Seth Rollins?
I know. Exactly, yeah, and fucking Rey Mysterio.
Exactly, and still to this day the most pushed Latino wrestler.
I know, and he's 5'6".
Penta might finally be the one that breaks that.
But yeah, it's. I'm praying this is Finn Balor's breakout year, because they've given him new theme music. He's been in the the main event on a 5 million person watch Netflix show. He's proved his worth again and again. So why not break him away? Give him a world title run. He could face Jey Uso if Jey Uso wins, and he could have 5, 6, 7, 8 months with the belt of just putting on banger matches. Like things we can see that Seth Rollins has faced everyone. We've not seen Finn Balor against everyone. How good would Finn Balor versus Penta be? How good would Finn Balor versus Braun Breaker be? How good would Finn Balor versus Ilya Dragunov, or like all these people coming up, like Ricky Saints, all these people, like if they finally get him to the main roster. And yeah, it's as much as it is the issue nowadays with long term booking of you can never pivot when somebody you can never really pivot when somebody deserves it. You know, it's they always know who the next belt's going to. You know, they always know 7 months down the line. It doesn't matter how many good matches Finn Balor has, he's no getting in there. So yeah, it's a shame, but you know, I think his time will come soon.
Yeah, and I think they've got to be. Hopefully this year they'll do a big show in Ireland.
Yeah, it's got to happen.
Aye,
Seems to me.
the next Clash of the Castle is surely scheduled for Ireland, and then he's got to be a shun for the main event of that.
We were going to talk. I don't know if we did. I don't know if we mentioned the five PLE locations. We didn't, did we?
I think we have.
We were going to do a video on the five potential PLE locations they've not used yet. I don't know if we'll save that one for we'll save that one for a little video.
Yeah, we'll do. Because I've got plenty of ideas of that actually.
I know, and with the sort of diverse talent they've got as well, there's 3 or 4 matches for each, you know, each country they go to that's, you know, a shoe in for a massive reaction, and Ireland being one of them. So, gotta happen. You've done Ireland, you've done Wales, you've done England. Sorry, you've done Scotland. Scotland, you've done Wales, you've done England, you've done Australia, you've done.
Saudi Arabia more times than it.
Yeah, France. You know, shows are coming to Italy.
Germany, they've done Germany.
Germany, yeah, we'll get there. We'll get around them.
Ireland's got to be the next one. And also, Seamus, you know, he can't have long left, so.
Becky Lynch.
Becky, exactly. So, and Taya. So it's all there. So yeah, we'll go with Rollins versus Balor for the back page, just because it's Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor. You don't not give that match of the week. For the headline, we'll go.
What about Finn margins between Jobber and main eventer?
Very good, very good, very good. Well done. We'll then go to page 3 for titillate and gossip, but we won't spend long on this. I don't really have anything. I just mentioned before, I think it's the likelihood of Christian cashing in on Cope at the main event of Revolution to become AEW World Champion. I think that's on the cards. I've heard as well that there's Miro, his return to WWE is imminent.
It looks like it, same as Malachi Black, is it?
Yeah, and Malachi Black. I think they're going to be 2 post-WrestleMania debuts.
Yeah, one maybe Raw after Mania would be good.
Yeah, they're SmackDown.
One each. Yeah, we'll book it, Vince. But for mine, I'll go with you know, The Rock. Maybe this is like blind optimism, you know, because I've just got that little hope, you know. He's done maybe a couple of teases. He's talking about day one again. You know, his Instagram videos are coming back a little bit. You know, is The Rock ready in his return? You know, I don't know if Roman he's going to come back in time. The Rock is always someone that goes off his own time. You know, he's not going to go. He's not going to go. Yeah, do that 6-month story. I'll be there at the end. You know, he's going to go. I'll let you know a month before. I might not be there. I might. So pivot me in when you can. And that's what happened last year, and I'm hoping that happens again this year. So The Rock return, main event of WrestleMania. Give me it.
Nah. If he wants to do it, he'll do it. Like
I know.
As I said, he's on the TKO board, and if they can't say no to him, I can see him maybe not having a match, but I can see him maybe attending Jay to the ring, something like that.
Who, The Rock? Do you think they do that
if they're serious about making Jay the champ, they really need to give him something extra to make us care more for him.
I know.
Aye, it's like they can't just keep saying yeet, yeet, yeet all the time, because it's already getting annoying in my book.
Aye, it's something's after if he becomes a champion against Gunther, they're going to have a sort of a minor shift in his character to, you know, have him staying relevant.
Like he's
Yeah,
not. He's like the. He seems like he is likable, but he needs to be more than that. You need to take him seriously as a threat, and right now he doesn't look that to an absolute killer like Gunter.
like he's been fairly one dimensional in his singles booking, but he's got a lot of years. He's got a lot of years ahead of him to
Yes.
um, show his layers of his character. Obviously, this is his maybe second or third year as a single star, and I'm sure they've got loads of ideas for them. They're not just Roman's cousins anymore. They're him and Jimmy. They're both capable wrestlers, no matter how much you read the dirt sheets, and I think they're only going to get better over time.
Mm-hmm. Anything else you've heard?
Gossip wise, um, nothing in terms of that, but I'd say maybe just adding a sort of little TV page to it. Logan Paul's podcast Impulsive has Michael Cole on it.
I was going to mention that. Yes.
Well, yeah, I was listening to that today in the car, and it's pretty insightful. Michael Cole
Aye.
doesn't hold anything back. They talk about Corey Graves. They talk about what's Vince saying in his ear. They talk about what what are the ins and outs of how Michael Cole goes about constructing his matches. He's not even, he calls himself a storyteller rather than a commentator. So there's a lot of stuff in there, and Logan Paul comes across as quite insightful and WWE driven rather than just a bit of
I
a
heard.
prick.
I've not seen it myself. I have heard that he told him that he admits he's got some of his own go home or go away heat
He
with
did. He did
fans.
say that, and I think Michael Cole was. He was saying no. He was trying to convince him that he's got the right amount of heat. Logan Paul's always going to carry baggage from his
Aye.
prior life, but I think he's really coming into his own. I know you're not a fan, but
I'm
like,
I'm not a fan of him personally. I think pretty much
yeah,
everybody feels this way about him. But not a
hmm
fan of him personally. He is another YouTube grifter, and his support of Trump endeared me even less to him. But in the ring, I'll give him his due. He is already the best celebrity that's ever transitioned into wrestling, and to the
definitely,
point where he nothing surprise you anymore. He knows how to have a really good match and connect with the crowd.
definitely, and yeah. But I think all he can do is, prove his loyalty to WWE, and prove his loyalty to actually sticking to something and
Hmm.
becoming a decent human. And we always give people second chances, but he's got a lot to making up to do as a guy. I think.
Yeah, I found it funny that apparently Michael Cole was actually a replacement for Tiffany Stratton. I
Well,
think
I
it's
know,
because
yeah,
Tiffany Stratton didn't want to spend 2 hours getting hit on by him and his fucking rank wee mates. But
can't blame him. But
true, but I mean, in a way I wanted to just show Kaiser or Ludwig Kaiser
kicked
can
his
batter him.
fucking nothing. I know, but we'll get that one day.
Yeah, hopefully.
The head
Uh,
kicking in, no the podcast.
yeah. Hey, you forget though, Logan Paul's a legit boxer. So.
He's a hard cunt, isn't he?
Aye.
I wouldn't try
Um,
him.
nah, fuck no. So we'll come on. We'll finish up. We'll finish up with a bit of fun. We've played it before. It's a game we like to play. That's not my name. As you know, wrestlers. Well, the vast majority of wrestlers don't go by their birth name. They all have made up names. It'd be pretty funny though if a mum and dad, a mother gave birth one day and said to the dad, "What should we name him?" I think the Undertaker sounds like a great name for him.
The Undertaker. What about his brother?
Aye.
Just Kane.
Or
Kane what? Just Kane.
Kane, aye, or the Ultimate Warrior, and then he later did really change his fucking name to that because he was an absolute maniac.
Hulk Hogan, man.
Aye,
The Boogeyman. He looks like a Boogeyman, doesn't he? We'll call
aye.
him Boogeyman.
Or Psycho Sid.
Your brother was bullied, so why don't we give him a slasher's name? For birth. Give him the best chance at life.
Aye, defo. So, and obviously we're doing this in light of Ricky Saints's new name. So what we've had is we've pulled out 5 names each. We're going to read out the real name of this said wrestler, and the other's got to guess what the wrestler name is. So, look, are you ready? Have you got your 5 at the ready?
I've got. Hold on. Yeah, well, I've got my 5.
Cool. Do you want me to read out mine first or yours first?
You go. You can go for one first. You go one, and I'll go one. So
Right,
you can
okay.
see. You can see your one. I'll guess first.
Right, cool. So, my first one is Charles Betts, Betts. I'll let you know. I'll give a bit of leeway. It's someone currently on WWE, and I'd say he's a firm mid carder.
For mid carder in WWE. I'm thinking. I'm thinking. There's usually, unless it's a ridiculous name, there's always some form of part of their name in their name. So I think this is going to be, you know, there's no bets. So it's going to be someone Charles. Did you say Charles Betts?
Yeah,
I think it's going to be and for mid carder. This puts it into place. I'm just going to say Chad Gable.
correct.
Oh, there we go. Cha.
I made that one
All I
too.
went off with there is Cha. All I could go
I
with is
made that one
Cha.
too easy.
Well, I'll give you a little start.
Okay.
Let's just say it's funny that you went with Chad Gable. That's my clue. Okay, because my first one is Nikola Bogujevic.
Gotta be uh, what'd you call him? Fuck's sake. Oh my god, I forgot his name. Uh,
Feel
his
free to
mate.
describe him.
Uh, with a big fat belly.
There it is.
Jesus
Aye.
Christ. I can see him. I can't. Oh my god, how have I forgot his name? Otis.
Otis, there he is.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, he went by Otis Dozovic to start,
Otis Dosevic.
and
Uh-huh.
so yeah, Bogajevic is. I
Was he
suppose.
Romanian or something?
I don't know. Is it? I think it's some sort of. Is it Eastern European? Is it?
It's got to be like Romanian or Hungarian or something.
Yeah, I can check.
Okay. So my next one is Eric Arndt, and I'll spell this one. It's ARNTD. I'll give you a wee hint of a clue. He made a brief comeback at a recent special show.
He made a brief comeback at a recent special show.
It's
Um,
a reunion of sorts.
a reunion of sorts. Um, Eric Arndt. Does it have anything to do with his name?
Not really, no.
Eric Arndt. Give us one more half clue and then I'll throw anything out. What era is he from?
Think WWE kind of mid 2010s.
Mid 2010s. You're thinking 2013, 2014 or something. I'll go for Aiden English.
Incorrect. It was in fact Enzo.
Oh, I was literally around the same. I remember he came back with Big Bill as well.
I
Was that on
showed
the
up the
cruise? Was that on
Jericho
Jericho's
cruise.
cruise?
Mm.
Yeah, it was. Fuck. I know that now, obviously. Like it comes straight back to you. I've heard that name before. Even when we've done one of these before, feel like I've gone to
What surprised me
select
is
that.
I thought he would. I mean, Arndt, that's not an Italian name. I thought he very much was. Had an Italian American name or an Irish name.
Straight up New Jersey, is he or
New
something?
York.
New York, yeah.
Aye.
Oh well, all right. 1-1. I'll
Mhm.
go for my next one. This is a WWE superstar. Okay, that's as much as I'll narrow it down. and his name is Munoz Gonzalez.
Oh.
And I feel like that narrows it down to probably about 3.
Aye, so it's got to be one of the Mexican guys. Could it be Penta? I'm thinking either Penta or Santos Escobar or Angel Garza. Right, since because he's been in the news recently and because he's made his debut, I'm just going to stick with Penta.
Incorrect. I think I went to search for Penta, but I don't think anyone knows his name.
Because it keeps his real identity so safely guarded.
If you search up Penta real name, you won't find it.
Really?
Because I went for that. I went to go for Penta and I couldn't find his name. Yeah,
It shows you how well guarded like the luchas are with their identities.
it says yeah, it says his name's unknown.
It's mad.
That was none of the names you mentioned, but the other Mexican guy that's on the roster, Dragon Lee.
Son of a, I keep on forgetting he's Mexican because I always think he's Japanese because he was in New Japan for donkeys.
Yeah, and obviously Dragon Lee is not exactly a.
Aye, it's got an Asian sound, doesn't it?
I know it's not so much a luchador name, is it?
Aye.
Right, 1-1 going into the third.
So my third one is Jerome Sagonovic. So it's another kind of Eastern European sounding one. I'll need to, we're going further back here. He was very much a golden generation guy.
Jerome Saganovic. So a golden generation. I'm going to go for the Iron Sheik.
Incorrect. It's Jerry Sags.
Jerry Sags.
Mm-hmm.
I would have never got that from
No?
from the Nasty Boys.
Nah. Because Iron Sheik is Hosni Muhammad or something like that.
Oh, see his Twitter. I know he's not here anymore, but
Aye.
his Twitter lives on.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck you, Hulk Hogan.
Fuck you, Hulk Hogan. You son of a bitch. The beds are
My
burning
next one.
Fuck your ass.
My next one here to take a 2-1 lead for yourself. I think this is one that you're gonna get right in the. You're gonna know where it's from. You've just got to pick the right guy. Okay. The name is Joshua Fatu.
Is it Jimmy or is it Jay? Shit. I think it's Jay because I'm sure Jimmy's Jonathan.
Or is it Jacob?
Is it Jacob Fatu?
It's Jay. Well done.
It's Jay.
Spot on.
I thought so. Aye.
I thought Joshua. I felt like that had a ring of Jimmy to it, you know. But well, you're well clued up. You've watched the Total Divas, mate.
Aye. Because remember they did the promo at WrestleMania to hype the match. Remember they gave each other's real names.
They did, yeah. So that's why I mentioned that. I seen that, watched that match, a couple of days ago, and I heard that wee promo, and I thought, it sort of jogged my memory back when I'm going for real names. I'm like, I can get them here.
Nah.
But you've got me, mate. Right, fourth one.
So this one is Stephanie Bell. It's someone quite prominent. Well, fairly prominent in WWE today.
Stephanie Bell.
Mm-hmm.
Someone fairly prominent.
I'll go further for you. Given her ethnic background, you wouldn't expect her to have a real name like that.
Stephanie.
The whole name Stephanie Bell.
Stephanie Bell. One question: is it NXT or is it main roster?
It's main roster.
Main roster. I'm gonna go for Bianca Belair.
Incorrect. It's Mia Yim.
Ooh. I'm gonna bet Bianca Belair's name's gonna be Bianca Belair, isn't it?
I think it's Bianca. I think it's Bianca Johnson. It's something more. I think it's just a kind of normal second name.
Bianca,
I think
yeah,
it turns
Bianca
into Bianca
Crawford.
Jones, something like that.
Bianca Crawford.
Crawford, that's it.
So Mia Yim, fucking hell, that's a deep cut there, man. I couldn't give me much of a chance
No,
there.
it was a snidey one, I'll admit, because I picked her because you wouldn't because she's I've got an Asian background. You wouldn't think she's got a name like that.
So 2-1. This is for the game basically here. 3-1. Right, I've gone for one here on the WWE roster. Peter England.
Jesus. Sounds too obvious to be Pete Dunne.
Peter England.
Who is it? It's Rich Holland. No, he's in NXT.
Yeah, they're currently on the main roster.
It's not Nick Aldis. Right. We're on the clock here, so I just need to force an answer out. It ain't going to be him, but for some weird reason, I'm just going to say it. Johnny Gargano. Probably way off.
Pete Dunne. it's so obvious that I knew you were going to go left.
Fucking. Oh, an open goal, man.
He's English. He's called Peter.
Oh, jeez, that just no, man. How is that possible? Like, you just know it when he was signed his contract. They looked at it and thought, no fucking way. That is not your name, is it?
Peter England. Peter England. Pete Dunne. Gives me a chance, that's the VAR has come out and kept it at 2-1.
Aye, they have. Right. Fifth and last one, and it's Sean Ricker. It's WWE. I'm not. That's the only bit of leeway I'm giving you here.
It's lucky that I can put this to extra time anywhere. I can put it back onto the fifth penalty because I remember. I'm sure it was Logan Paul when he was in a feud with him. He called him Old Man Ricker.
Shit.
And that's LA Knight, yeah.
Yeah, shit, correct.
So, down to my last one. I'll give you a clue. He's been in WWE long enough that you've probably heard this name.
Right.
And his name, I think you'll either know it, you'll not, or you'll be able to gauge it and get there. Okay. So for the win, his name is Stephen Farley.
So he's been in
since it's 2-2.
So he's been in WWE a long time then.
He's been in WWE a good while.
Stephen Farley. It's not the Miz. His is Mike Mizanin. It's not Seth. It's not Roman. It's not. Oh Jesus!
Want one more clue? Since we're going to be here forever, if it goes to 2-2, I'll give you one more clue to give you a hint. He's still in WWE, but he's before them. Before the three you've just mentioned.
Oh Jesus! Right.
So he's before Roman. He's before Roman. He's before Seth.
Oh.
But not by a massive amount. He's post 2000 WWE.
Right. Is it Kofi Kingston?
It is not Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston's got a bit more of a Ghanaian twang to his name.
Right.
You're gonna be gutted when you hear this. What sort of Farley? What origins do you get from Farley?
Seamus.
It's an Irish name.
Oh no.
And it's an Irish man's name. And it's a ginger Irish man's name. And it's Seamus.
I thought it was O'Shaughnessy because that was his indie name.
Yeah. Did you go to Sheamus and then go back off him because you thought it was O'Shaughnessy?
A wee bit, but I just forgot about him, to be honest. And I think also because I think I thought I'd have known his real name.
Yeah. I've got one more, and I'll give you the one if you get it.
Right, go ahead, go.
And it's not even just his real name. It was his old wrestling name as well. His name is Marcel Barthel.
That's Ludwig Kaiser.
There he is, and he wins.
Yes.
Well done.
Thank you.
The pity point.
Thank you.
For the win. Here we are then, 3-2,
I
mate.
don't deserve it after the Peter England.
Peter England,
That was
Sheamus.
an absolute shocker. And Sheamus.
What do you think of? Where do you think of Farley's from? Ireland. Sheamus.
I know.
I never knew that though. It's weird. I'd never. You always come across, Joe Anoa'i, and you come across Colby Lopez, and you come across, John Good.
Good.
Yeah, you come across John Good, and you come across whatever Big E's name and all that, but you never ever come across Stephen Farley.
It's crazy.
Sounds like an up and coming comedian from Glasgow.
Yeah, Stephen Farley. How you go?
You can segue this. You can segue this to your show if you want.
Aye, exactly. Like, because you think Chris Farley, the old comedian from the 90s.
Yeah.
Old legend, the original Sherrick.
I know. Oh well, there we are, mate. Another one in the books. Elimination Chamber coming up. We'll see if it's worth the mention here, or we could have just not even talked about it and glossed over it in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, that's true. So it's March 1st, isn't it? Toronto.
March 1st, yep.
It's in the fucking Sky Dome.
I seen that, mate. Yeah, it's not as. I think it's been renamed a few times since the Sky Dome, but WrestleMania 18, isn't it?
That's right. I've been there. I went there when I was on holiday there when I was 9 for a Blue Jays game. It is a big stadium. I'm talking like Wembley sized.
Hopefully, they can fill it.
Aye, well, Toronto tends to always do WWE well in years, and I think if Canada wants a WrestleMania back, this is how they do it. They pack this one out to the point where WWE says, right, we need to go there in WrestleMania 2 years' time.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully they fuck it and it comes to Wembley then.
Aye, true. Or Hampden.
Well, we'll be miles away. We'll need the binoculars to see the ring.
I just want them to do a Scottish WrestleMania just to see what's the logo going to be. Is it just a big tartan WrestleMania?
I know, it'll have to be. What they do for Clash of the Castle? If it can be dragons at the side, Loch Ness monsters and stuff.
They're going they clearly couldn't be arsed changing the graphics they had from
the
show. Like to Americans,
just put a wee tartan hat on them or something.
Aye. And it's been a lovely talk, mate. Thank you very much once again for tuning in to another episode of the Heat Sheet. If you're still on after this, Jesus Christ, do you need a girlfriend? But thank you very much for tuning in anyway. Lewis, it's been lovely, and I hope you have a great rest of the week, and hope everybody enjoys their wrestling. And if you if you can't stand the heat, stay away from the sheet. we still haven't worked that out.
We'll get that. See you later.
Hello, Heat Seekers. It's the Heat Sheet.